its own way, like a starry summer night or a snow-covered winter's day. And everybody's beautiful in their own way. Under God's heaven, the world's gonna find a way. There is none so blind as he who will not see. We must not close our minds, we must let our thoughts be free. For every hour that passes by, you know the world gets a little bit older. It's time to realize that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. And everything is beautiful in its own way, like a starry summer night, snow-covered winter's day. Ah, sing it, children. Everybody's beautiful. Everybody's beautiful in their own way. Under God's heaven, the world's gonna find a way. We shouldn't care about the length of his hair or the color of his skin. Don't worry about what shows from without, but the love that lives within. We're gonna get it all together now. Everything gonna work out fine. Just take a little time to look on the good side, my friend, and straighten it out in your mind. And everything is beautiful in its own way, like a starry summer night or a snow-covered winter's day. Ah, sing it, children. Everybody's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful in their own way. Under God's heaven, the world's gonna find a way. One more time. Everything is beautiful.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country road. All my memories, they gather round her. Minus a lady, stranger to blue water. Dark and dusty, painted on the sky. Misty taste of moonshine, teardrops in my eyes. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads. I hear her voice in the morning hour. She calls me. Radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down the road, I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday. nothing in the world that I like better than bacon and lettuce and homegrown tomatoes. Up in the morning and out in the garden, get your ripe one, don't get a hard one. Plant 'em in the spring, eat 'em in the summer. All winter without 'em's a culinary bummer. I forgot all about the sweating and the digging every time I go out and pick me a biggin'. Homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What'd life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes. You can go out to eat, and that's for sure, but there's nothing that a homegrown tomato won't cure. Put 'em in a salad, put 'em in a stew. You can make your own very own tomato juice. You can eat 'em with eggs and eat 'em with gravy. You can eat 'em with beans, pinto or navy. Put 'em on the side, put 'em in the middle. A homegrown tomato on a hot cake griddle. Homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What'd life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes. This life I lead, you could call me Johnny Tomato Seed, 'cause I know what this country needs is homegrown tomato in every yard you see. When I die, don't bury me in a box in a cold dark cemetery. Out in the garden would be much better, 'cause I could be a pushing up a homegrown tomatoes. Homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What'd life be without homegrown tomatoes? There's only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes. Homegrown tomatoes. What'd life be without homegrown tomatoes? There's only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes. Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. Sunshine in my eyes can make me cry. Sunshine on the water looks so lovely. Sunshine almost always makes me high. If I had a day that I could give you, I'd give to you a day just like today. I had a song that I could sing for you. I'd sing a song to make you feel this way. The sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. Sunshine in my eyes can make me cry. Sunshine on the water looks so lovely. Sunshine almost always makes me high. If I had a tale, I'd tell a tale sure to make you smile. If I had a wish that I could wish for you, I'd make a wish for sunshine all the while. Sunshine.
There it comes.
Y'all waiting?
We're waiting for you.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Here's right here. Here's Rachel.
Wait a few minutes, you can get Jack doing what he does best.
What's that? Eating?
Yeah.
Naughty.
I know you're gonna make a speech. Tell him.
He can do that. I know he can do that.
Tell a joke.
I know he can make. I know.
Tell him about Will's girlfriend.
I told John.
Oh, you done told
I got that already. Will working out it. Dale, Colorado, and his girlfriend's working out that too. Christmas. She works in a wide hotel. Works in a wide hotel. And where the newspapers are and all that kind of stuff. The other day, this man walked in and I said,
Here, still Granddad's chair.
the man walked in and said, do you have any purple eye?
Scoot all the way back.
She never heard the name already. I said, no, we don't, but we got the best one for that dude. He said, no ma'am, it won't. That's all right.
That's right. He's smart.
We'll call you, John.
Okay.
I'll call you.
Okay. Whatever. Because I haven't seen her in a long time.
Call Julia. I had her telephone number.
Well, you give that to me and I'll call you. You give and I can run it that way.
Yeah, she can take it.
That way I can. I'll say hello.
How are you going to call Susie?
Chris is down there in the room.
58 right away from New York that quick. And you go right by her. It's nice going that picture. She'd already asked about you all.
Jim and Ann came over that night and we went out.
Before we get to Wilmington. 15 miles this side of Wilmington.
And
Did you walk that in last year?
Jim walked off away from Red. He said, he knows everybody.
Well, I already got it.
They know
We
him.
never stand around. Whoa.
I guarantee they all know him, but that's carried on all the time.
He walked over after we walked off and left him, and I sat down. I said, well, it's gonna be a while before we get
I know
started.
all about that. Well, I hear about that.
He said, I said, do you know those two people? I said, one was that couple. He said, what?
Somebody told us about this place.
He told us.
Nobody actually got to use fryer. It's all good.
Joe Galloway, he's in charge of job placement.
And one thing about his dog, that's right. You go in, you go in,
That young dog that
you leave nags, they go in dog, and you hit the paint bridge.
when she came to see me, she had that job.
He right on the coast, he right for what?
Cut out some of it.
She does.
This is my daughter, Catherine. It's Thursday morning. We're really rolling. Catherine has got a big smile on her face and her Godzilla glasses.
Fine, Dad.
Catherine is all fired up. You can tell that by the tone of her voice. Mary Ann. How you doing, Mary Ann?
I'm doing great.
Are you? Why?
I'm going to return Barbara's, what?
I don't know. What is
that I've
this?
had for months. So she
Uh-oh.
won't think I've stolen it.
Mary Ann's getting rid of a guilt trip, so she's feeling good. Hey, to New Bern, North Carolina.
That's right.
Getting a full week's
See how much I
vacation.
remember.
Oh, yeah. We're going to check it. Check it out. 20 minutes late. He's had his eggs and his bacon. Here's Hugh Dodd in his power car. Look at him. Doesn't he look like a power man? That's fine. There's Jeffrey. Everybody's had breakfast.
That's right.
Good.
Janet
Did you? Good. Okay. Fit.
On our way to Newbern.
On our way to New Bern. Boing, boing, boing.
Hi.
Good morning. It's Thursday morning. Off to New Bern. Carolina. This is a house that's on the corner of Metcalf and Broad Street. A doctor used to live there. then here's where a bunch of old maid school teachers used to live, right in that house. Used to be a lot more trees here. And this is the house that I was born in there. Isn't that something?
Get out the street. Mama.
Born and raised in that house. Barbara was born at the hospital next door, and Joan was, I guess, born in that house too. This is my mother's house.
Now you're standing right in front of Mama.
Why was that?
When she was a little girl, she lived in this house, which is right next door. Baby lived in this house, which was about 2 or 3 houses down from the house that we were in. And they lived down at this end of the block and had a little sitting room. Still on Metcalf Street. You get some idea of what this house. You walk down the street, what all of this looks like. It's just beautiful. Old houses right in the downtown area. Our grandmothers and aunts are buried, and where my mother and father say they want to be buried probably will be. I'm going to walk down this path so you can see it's got moss trees. Hi. We've just finished looking at the tombstone of Ella Ivy Smith, and right now you're looking at a place where Ella Ivy Smith worked and a business that she owned known as the Wagon Department. This particular department was located and is located on the grounds where the Central Fire Station is located in downtown New Bern. It is now 1999, and we're getting ready to go back and look at a reunion that our family had with the Ella Ivy Smith reunion a little less than a year ago. A little bit about this particular spot. It used to be a major wagon and stable area. And they had some very fancy carriages were there. It was a very prosperous area, and then our grandmother, Ella Smith, opened the wagon department and ran a blacksmith shop out of that location. At some point, that particular business disappeared, and the land was used for carnivals and big plays that were held in tents, and this was back in the 1920s. A little history about the Smith family, and I'm going to give that to you right now before we go to the reunion. Ella married a man named John Ivy Smith, and John Ivy Smith comes from the Willis family and the Whitford families of Craven County. The Willis families and the Benjamin Venters married, and out of that came a Sarah Venter and a Sherrod T. Smith. And he had a second wife, and this was in the 1820s. And by his second wife, he had another person named as Redding Smith, born in 1851. And he was born in Ernle, North Carolina. And John Ivy was born in a marriage between Redding Smith and Sarah Catherine Willis. And John Ivy was born in 1875 on June the 28th in Cowpens Landing in Cravens County. And then he married Ella in June 21st, 1911. Ella came from the Pickett family, the Davis Pickett family in Straits, and the Elijah Newton Bell family from Hubert, North Carolina. And Davis Pickett had a son named Culpepper Pickett, and Elijah Newton Bell had a daughter named Kristen Caroline Bell, and Culpepper Pickett and Caroline Belle, they married and had Ella Pickett, and Ella was born in the Straits. And naturally, she then married John Ivy Smith. Now getting ready to go to the Hope Valley Baptist Church, located right on the edge of Chapel Hill, North Carolina, for our reunion. And all of us who are relatives from Ella's family will be there. There's going to be some people who are missing. Jack Powell and Marie Gray and Red Tyler have passed away. But all of their children are there, and their own children, plus the people that we've married. And I think you're going to really enjoy this last part. I'm going to intersperse some music with pieces of it, but there's a rather lengthy give and take, and come on and join me. We're now going to Chapel Hill, North Carolina for our reunion of the Ella Smith family, the first reunion that I can recognize that this family's had since I've been born, and quite frankly, that's a pretty long time ago, like 58 years ago. Here we go.
Another piece. Till I get to my first. There is a brush like that. Oh, they're so cute. He pushes her. I was just noticing. Now this is a good one. They are dope.
Get a picture of you, John.
I'll get a picture of me. Break the camera.
Have really good computer skills as well as having the design. I ran into a girl that graduated with my son in 1987 from my high school.
Hey, Delia. Thank you.
She's doing graphic.
Are
you watching what I'm doing?
I am.
Mac has instructed me to fill out my life story, so
Okay.
I'm just doing the good things.
Great.
Like I said, you got to call Caroline. I know she'll be coming to school every day. He's talking.
Thank you, Mary.
Completed. Can you believe it?
I'm glad you can. Funk yourself. I have to help.
Anyway, he saw this man that saw this song. Wait, he doesn't write that.
Yes, sir. Hello.
You know what? I think they're doing it upstairs. The contest upstairs. There's a basket with all the numbers in it. It was a handle. And I think Gary took it upstairs. Blame Gary.
Check her out. She doesn't know how to act. You get some pride. She doesn't know how to act.
What is it?
And he says I can't find them. Christopher? Christopher? Come here, I want you
It started right away.
away, and it hasn't stopped since. It hasn't.
Tell me about Prudence.
Prudence is the name that we gave my kidney.
Now let me tell the story. You're doing all the talking.
All right, well, go ahead.
It was my idea. She gets all the credit. I think I've told some of you when we went in the fall to talk to the doctors. It was just real serious. Judy was sick, and we didn't know whether it was going to work, and I was scared to death, and you name it. We had that emotion that day. And we were sitting together in this examination room, and I said, Judy's just getting too serious. And I said, we need to name the kidney. So we thought of lots of names. And we thought our great aunt's name was, we called her Candy, but her name was Prudence. And who would you name Prudence but a kidney? So we decided to call her Prudence, and it really didn't take off right away. We just sort of said that, and then...
Was this Aunt Prue?
Yeah. So when we got to Durham, or maybe preceding that, we started talking about it too. But then the doctor started calling it Prudence. So when we got home, Jack called me. Brother Jack. Where's Brother Jack? He's not in here. He said, well, what are you going to name your kidney? Like in great pity for me that I have a kidney that's not named. And I said, I really haven't thought about that. I don't think I need to name my kidney. He said, yes, you do. He said, you remember Gertrude? Gertrude was Candy, Aunt Prue's maid, all forever. She sort of grew up with us, or she kind of raised us. And her name was Gertrude. And they called Prudence Prue for short, and Gertrude's short name was Gertie. So we've named mine Gertie.
And what's funny about wherever Aunt Prue went, Gertrude went with her too.
I mean, they were everywhere.
Everywhere.
They were teams.
But Jack did say, he said, I don't know if I'd name her Prudence or not. He said, you know how Aunt Prue was. She'd get down on that bed, she said, if I don't want to do it today, I'm not going to work. And I went, uh-oh, that sounds like, you can't say that to me, so I have to work all the time. I said, maybe we better not, but we named it that anyway. But it's been wonderful, and all my reports at Duke have been excellent. They've just...
Be careful, you're going to fill that cup.
The medication that I'll be taking is lifelong. I have to take that, but it's nothing compared to what I had, like I said before. But I'm still being monitored for the next probably month. I'll be coming up to Duke every 2 or 3 weeks, and they still regulate my medication. Then I'll start coming to Duke and in Wilmington to my nephrologist, kidney doctor there. And I think now, what is the longevity of the kidney?
20 years.
20 years. So that's good.
I mean, it could be longer. They told Judy, and they told me too, that especially with a family kidney, you know, if you've got the same genes and all, it's much greater the success. But they say even if it isn't successful, the drugs they put them on, put Judy on, that just bolsters the success rate.
Julie, how's your life changed? Has it changed significantly?
Well, of course, I had some other problems, but, you know, other than this, and I don't like to go into that, but those things I just deal with on a daily. I have neuropathy, nerve damage in my legs and all, but I take medication for that. But, I mean, I'm so much better. I mean, my health, I feel so much better. I hate to use the word depressed, but I felt like my life was just going down a tube, and I had no control of it. I didn't have, you know, it was just slipping away, and it's the worst feeling ever. But I don't feel that way anymore. I'm just so fortunate to have a sweet sister.
You're right.
I am. I really am. And Chuck, he's been a wonderful husband. He's been taking care of me. He waited on me hand and foot for so long. Now my turn to take care of him.
How you doing?
He's been such a support. Everybody has. Everybody has. It is. It certainly is.
Thank you for telling us the story.
Yeah. You're welcome. Now we're going to see the picture. Have you already seen?
Well, Julie, can I ask you something? If let's say in 20 years the kidney begins to fail, then would there be somebody else in the family could any of us be a match for you?
Yeah.
Is that a possibility?
Well, you know, I didn't know yesterday.
Well, I'm going to say, I told that didn't work out there. I think my kidney.
Well, you know what the surprising thing about it is that I didn't realize was at Duke, because they have such a high success there, they don't do any transplants there unless there's a match. You have 6 antigens in your body, and at least one has to match. And that meaning that if you have 3 to match, the success rate is even better. 3 to match 4, and Chris and I had 4, I think, to match, or the same. So that's a big success, you know, that it won't. But anyway, nowadays, Chris said she met a lady in Charlotte who gave her husband one of her kidneys, and they didn't even match. I mean,
No, they did.
They did. Well, they can give. You don't have to be a blood relative, you know, if there's a match. They'll do it even with 1. But a lot of the hospitals won't do it unless there's, you know, 2, 3, where the success is so much better than the
Well, let me give you all some advice. When they first started having these organ transplants, oh, I was thrilled to death. I went to the lawyer and I had a paper written up, and I said, now who gets this paper? He didn't know. I said, well, how do they go about transplanting your organs after you die? He didn't know. So one day I was looking at television and on Greenville, and it came on. Anybody wants to donate organs, call this toll-free number. Boy, I jumped right up and called them. They said, how old are you? And I told them, well, I'll let you talk to so-and-so. How old are you? And I told you, I'm sorry, but your organs are just too old. I said, well, I'll tell you one thing. You don't know how healthy my organs are.
Now, let me tell you something else, though. That's wrong, because the
They've
doctors,
changed now.
the doctors that do say anybody, even I didn't think I could because I was diabetic, but I can give my lungs, my eyes, the bones, and skin, and my, you know, for grafting and all. So anybody can give donor.
And that thing on your
can be a
license,
donor.
but that's not good enough.
That's
When you say you're an organ donor on your license, if they look at that after you've had an accident or something, that you have to carry a separate card.
Oh, really?
And you get that from the driver's.
And you need
what
to
is
give it to
DMV?
somebody that knows you, that can give it to the, because if you don't, and then again, I think when the time comes and you do die, that has to be another decision I think the family has to make again. They'll ask you again in the hospital, so somebody needs to know that. That's what you want. But anybody can do it, and I know that's a personal decision for everybody, but I really encourage anybody that can to do that, because there's so many people. And I experienced it when I was on dialysis. I mean, I had that, I don't know what it was, the first dialysis, I had a shunt in my neck, and they did dialysis that way. I had to go to a clinic 3 times a week for 3 hours. I mean, and everybody in there, I about cry every time I go in there, because there are people who have been on dialysis for 20 years. 20 years.
Or didn't want to.
Didn't want to have transplant because they were so scared about it. And then others who'd been on it for 10, 15 years who didn't, you know, waiting for a transplant. It's the saddest thing you can, I mean, it's just so sad.
Well, what about your pancreas now?
Well, that doesn't work at all, but, you know, I still have to take insulin, but that's nothing compared to what, I needed a kidney. I didn't need the pancreas, you know, but it really has been wonderful.
Do you find yourself taking any more kinds of just precaution in your life, knowing that you have one?
Maybe I should. But the doctor, I asked that question, you know, should I limit certain foods or anything else? And he said, no, you just live your life as you have always. And this was comforting for me to hear. He said that, as I probably told half the crowd here this story, but he said it's not like losing 1 eye or 1 ear. You don't lose half your sight or half your hearing. 2 kidneys give you 10 times the amount of need you have. That's very comforting, isn't it? So if you lose 1, you have 5 times the amount of need that your body requires to cleanse your blood. And you can live with a 5th of a kidney. Now, I don't know if he was just telling me a story. Hey, it sounded good to me. This was 2 weeks before the surgery. And that was very comforting.
And everybody I see, well, I know when I go right up to them, introduce myself to them, say, I've had a kidney transplant. I know people, I said, I've had a kidney transplant, let me tell you about it. And they'll go, oh, you did? And they kind of wonder, I say, wait a minute, come back, I didn't finish.
Judy, do not tell another soul. They do not care.
Judy,
Ma'am.
I'm glad you told them that you were a UNC fan. I'm glad you didn't tell
Go
them
Eagles,
that.
right.
I did. Oh, I didn't tell you about that. Did I tell you about that while I was at Duke? When Chapel Hill and Duke played the night after our surgery.
I remember.
I was pumped up on drugs.
She was big time.
I was big time sitting up in that bed. I said, I've got to watch that game. And there were some nurses down the hall, and I said, I don't know how I'm going to watch it because I screamed through all those games. And I don't like Duke at all. Don't like him at all. And so,
Now, wait a minute, there are a few Dukies.
wait a minute. Anyway, 2 or 3 of the nurses came into my room, and one guy came in too, and I said, they were talking about the game, and I said, you know, I know I'm up here at Duke, and I said, and y'all taking really good care of me, but I don't want that to change. But I am a Carolina fan. That, oh, good, said you wouldn't believe half the people that work in this hospital are Carolina fans.
And Carolina won that night.
And Carolina won that
What a
night.
sweet victory.
And I closed the door, and they all came into my room to watch it, where they'd come back and forth, and then I said, open that door one time. And they opened, I said, go Heels, all the way down the hall. Then I flaked out. But it was a good game. I'll show you my scar one day. And I'll let you feel. You can feel prudence.
That's weird.
It really is. Because it's right under the groin. It's right in the groin. It's just right under the skin. It's a little hard place, kind of. I got it.
How big is it? It's the palm of your hand.
That's not
It's real small.
Tell them about where it goes and that you don't have to lose one of your other kidneys.
the groin. I mean the
Kidney.
They didn't take them out.
Oh no, they don't take my kidneys out. They just eventually they just dry up or whatever and don't work.
Oh, I didn't realize
They
that.
rot.
Mama, please. They don't rot.
Get right down to it.
So sensitive.
You pass it. You pass.
Oh, that's a sensitive conversation. Right.
Should have said, yeah, you bet. Left a little bit
They just deteriorate and stay right there.
And my incision's not been about that long.
Chris, it's long, then yours is at least that long.
It is not.
Let's
It is
see
not.
it.
I'll show you.
Yeah, let's see it. Yeah, let's
My
see it.
incision's about that long. And I've been told it was going to wrap around my back, you know, from here to my backbone. And my doctor said, well, I didn't operate on them, did I? And I said, well, no, sir. And he said, well, yours won't. But they take a little bit of your rib out when they go.
About that, they regenerate.
And rib bones regenerate.
Is that right?
I don't know if he's losing it.
Well, let me tell you something. When I was taking prednisone, almost 70 milligrams of prednisone a day. Well,
He knows all about it.
wait a minute, there's something here. I'd wake up in the middle of the night thinking I was having an insulin reaction. I was sweating so bad. Oh! I'd call the nurse and say, come take my blood sugar. And she'd take, she well, it's fine. I don't understand what's happening. And I thought Chris had passed on the menopause or something.
She's had it, not had it. I really missed it. She's having it, I'm not.
Anyway, I finally asked the doctor about it. He said, oh no, he said, that's not it. He said, you taking prednisone causes you to have night sweats. I said, thank goodness.
Well, these young people don't know what menopause means.
Mama, don't get it. Anyway. But I'm down there to, and of course the side effects are, you have the moon face. I have a moon face anyway, but it's getting even more. So, but you have loss of hair and weight gain and night sweats, whatever else. But anyway, the less you take, and that's what they're doing is tapering it down. And I'm 20 milligrams right now, but next week I'll go to 15, and then I'll go to 10 in a month. So I'll get down to 10, and I think they're going to keep me on that for a couple of years, and then maybe less than that.
Don't that make your glucose shoot well?
Oh yeah, and it makes my blood sugar go
Dr.
up.
Dorsey knows all about it.
And Daddy, I know, was sitting right here in that chair right there.
I know, you've been taking it for years and years and
She's
years.
well.
Well, it hasn't really been that high. It was this morning, but I know because I ate too much last night or whatever. And I've had and I'm working with my doctor in Wilmington who treats me for my diabetes. You know, the ones at Duke don't do that. They're kidney specialists, and they realize what happens. But I have a specialist for everything. If anybody needs anything, just ask them who they are. But I'm working with him on that, I have a sliding scale for insulin and all. Depending on what it is, I take less or more. Take 4 shots a day. 400.
Good night.
But it was 183 at lunchtime. I know. And see, I remember as a child, the Daddy and Mama would take turns, and Mama would make Daddy do it. And Daddy said, "Come here, G." That hurts. Just hold it on. He'd hold on to my arm like this and say, "It's not gonna hurt. It hurts me worse than it does you. It hurts me." He said, "Does that hurt?" Now let me tell you something really funny. About the scale. In the hospital, a nurse came up to me and we were talking about pain, and she said, "Now, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much does it hurt? 10 being the worst." And I didn't feel well that day. And when she said that, I started laughing. She said, "What's so funny?" I said, "Now I know where my father came up with that scale thing. He'd always ask me, he said, Julia, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much does it hurt?" And whenever I'd go above 1 to 2, you know, which was the least you could hurt, he'd, "Oh, you know it doesn't hurt that bad." Even if I say 1, it doesn't hurt that bad. So that's where he got that scale from. I never could figure out where he came up with the scale on 1 to 10, how much does it hurt. He must have been there or been somewhere where somebody used the same technique on him, 1 to 10. But he was with us. He'd been with us both that whole time, I'm telling you. Yeah, he'd been.
Then, when she first got diabetes, you didn't have disposable syringes, and you had to boil them. And the needles were just as dull as they can be. And Jack would hold her, and I'd give her a shot, and there was poor little Bill Powell, scared. And she was screaming just as hard as she could.
I screamed all the time.
She did.
Still does?
Oh, boy.
Bill, when did you you didn't have juvenile diabetes, did you?
No, I got it when I was 39. I've had it about 8 years.
I gave it to him, kissed him, gave him
Gave it to
sugar.
him.
Let me tell you, all the children around here, there's no way you can get diabetes from kissing or eating or something like that.
Had 5 years.
5 years. And Mary has it not. I mean, you know how to take care of yourself. And that's
She
what
does.
do you do, Mary, to take care of yourself?
A whole bunch of stuff.
She's in
My
good
doctor
health.
told me. It's complicated.
You're an athlete, aren't you?
She
What
is.
is it that you play basketball? That's what I heard.
And golf.
That's what I heard. Yeah. I heard
See,
you
we
never
keep
spend
up
your son
with
at
all
golf clubs. She got Papa's blood.
No kidding.
Mama gave me Daddy's blood.
Oh, wow.
She's got Big Bertha's. Oh, you don't have his Big Bertha's. Who took them?
Who's
He
got a
didn't
bill?
have it. He
Oh, I thought he had a great Big Bertha.
He traded off because he couldn't hit it.
I didn't know that. Well, I tell you, and I know this is, we're going to sit here and talk about Daddy, but the past couple of years, I've started playing golf. And it was the greatest thing for me to play golf with Daddy. And we just let's see, it's been last spring, the summer before that, I played golf with him in Ag's Head. We leave Mama and Julia at home, and they get so mad. We'd be gone 5 hours. It was wonderful. And then I played with him in Windsor all the time. I think the last time we played, Jack and Bill and Daddy and I played. And just to have that memory.
Well,
And
yes,
he
but
couldn't
first,
believe it.
when she played with him down in Ag's Head, she beat him, and it killed him.
Jack and Bill, tell them about what they've done out at the golf course for Daddy in Windsor.
Some of the people that salesmen collected a bunch of money and put a pond out there. They're going to name it Kyle's Pond. I don't know whether they did or not. They got a pond out there.
That's beautiful. It is so pretty.
Now let the Dorsets talk to him. Yeah, we can all talk. And the Tylers.
I guess.
But one thing I've been saying saying about Julia and Chris and what they just went through is something that I think we all believe in real strongly is the power of prayer.
We do. We do.
Chris and Julia, I mean, they just went right through it like that. Power of prayer.
It is wonderful.
Y'all have a certain tradition in the Powell family that you keep doing over and over again, that you just love it and you just keep doing it?
Sitting around the dining room table telling the same jokes for the last 20 years. Same one.
Well, we forgot them for 1 year.
And you get funny every time.
And they're funny.
Don't tell that joke about Carl the cycle.
No, I want you to tell that one about Daddy on the golf, on the,
fishing trip.
no, the one out of the warehouse where it fell off. He got his neck cold and something knocked him off with that riding lawnmower.
Well, I think we heard that at Daddy's funeral.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, did you tell the one about the fishing trip?
No, I got one better than that.
All right, yeah, say it.
Poor Daddy, I'm sorry he's not here to hear it, of course.
He's hearing it, Bill.
Oh, yeah, he's here. Well, I don't know, about 7 years ago, my wife Agnes and Mom and Dad and our 3 girls went to Disney World.
That's the funniest thing.
We had the best time, a really great time. We had loving suitcases, and I wrapped them in this yellow and orange tape so you know they were ours. We got to the airport in Orlando, tired, late at night, 11 o'clock. We were all tired and irritable. And I said, Daddy, you take care of the suitcases. Get them off the rack when they come around. I'm gonna get the car. We rented a car. I called out there. I said, Daddy, there's 13 suitcases. I got them. What you worry about it. So I went and got the station wagon, came around, took about an hour to get the station wagon. It was late. We were all tired. I said, Daddy, you got the suitcase? I got them all. Threw them all in the back. We took off. Hour and a half to where we were going. Kissing me. And got there, started unpacking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 12. 12, I thought it was 13. So everybody take the suitcases to the room. Where's my suitcase? I said, Daddy, I said there were 13. I counted 13 suitcases. Someone's messing with me. No, they're not, Daddy. There's 13. You lost yours. No, I didn't. I saw my. Someone noticed. Now it's too late. Doggone, we gotta go back and get it. So we went all the way back. Here's this concrete jungle. Airplanes sitting because it was so late. And there was Daddy sitting right in the middle, wrapped in green. Well, I'm not through yet. So we got back. Wait a minute. So we got back. Tired. I mean, it was 2 o'clock in the morning. We were worn out. So we all went to sleep. Woke up the next morning. We were all out eating breakfast in the condominium down. And Daddy, he was getting up late. He was tired, poor thing. I all of a sudden heard this person in the back say, "Good morning." I said, I can't. Everybody's here but Daddy. Now, who's he saying good morning? So I went back, and there he was. There was poor Papa sitting on the bed like this, with his underwear and his T-shirt on. I said, Daddy, who you saying good morning to? He said, what's wrong? I said, well, that long mirror in the door, I passed it, and I saw myself, and I said, good morning.
Somebody else did.
Tell a story about the red tie.
The red tie.
Well, y'all went off pile and settled enough. I will say it.
Now,
Now, you guys or women, I don't know, about 10 years ago in the paper, you've heard all about this red tide in the water, and they were telling you not to eat the fish out of it, and it's irritable to the, irritates to your skin and whatever. A good friend of mine, Bill Cowper, and Dad and I, we were going to go to Hatteras and go trout fishing. And in the newspaper, the month or so before this fishing trip, it was warning you. But all of us down in Moorhead, Emerald down that way, not up where we were going. Got about halfway there, and I was driving. Daddy was sitting in the by the window, and Bill Cowper sitting in the middle. And Dad said, y'all read anything about that red tide? Bill Cowper, knowing the water as well as he does, he said, Papa Jack, listen, you ain't got to worry about this up here. I mean, it just doesn't come up here. I said, all right. Bill Cowper went like this to me and said, 2 hours after we're out, he's going to complain. Daddy said, what'd you say? Didn't say nothing. Yes, you did. What'd you say? Because Dad couldn't hear. And we all know. Nothing. So we went on, got in the Harris, got in our boat, went trout fishing. And y'all, I'm going to tell you what. It wasn't 2 minutes. Within 2 hours, when Daddy said, doggone, my eyes, it must be this red tide. Well, Bill Cowper just hit the floor. It hit the floor. Almost sunk us because he hit the floor laughing so hard. But that's another classic story right now in itself. That's just real funny. But,
Red tide.
Can you tell us about some of the fishing stories? Fishing trips we all took in Nags Head?
We had a lot of good
We
times.
all took, we didn't all take.
Well,
The
you
men
ladies
and the
stayed home
boys
and doing
took.
fishing.
We didn't all take, I still hold that grudge.
That you turned out to be such a mouth.
It is pretty amazing. That's fun on the kettle.
Uncle Q, what was the story that you and Daddy and Jack were going fishing and y'all forgot to put the plug in the boat?
Oh, yeah. Who wasn't supposed to know all about the fishing? Was it you, Uncle Hugh?
Maybe so.
No, your daddy was a
Oh, how about them?
Oh, he was authority on everything.
Even a doctor. Tell us that story, Uncle Hugh.
No, I what Cotton started.
I wasn't there, I just heard about it.
Well, what you know
were
about,
there.
your daddy wasn't down there.
Well, I just heard about
Jack,
it.
we were
Somebody
down
was
there,
yeah.
and Jack and I went fishing. And after we got out to anchor the fish, well, the boat started sinking. And what had happened, the plug under the bottom of the boat that you let the water out when you hide up in the air somewhere, well, the water was coming in there. And the only way we could keep the boat from not sinking was to start the motor and get going. Because I wrote your daddy a letter telling all about it. I don't
He
know.
called me and told me about it.
I don't know much all about it, but that was the story.
Well, I can tell you who he blamed it on.
Did you catch the grief for that? You weren't even there.
And that's what he blames Bill on.
Came back and plugged it.
Well, tell about the time y'all went fishing and they kept baiting your hook with dead fish.
I had heard that story.
That's a good one.
What did they
What
do?
did you say?
You heard exactly
No,
what
I
I
didn't
said
hear
here.
I didn't hear what you said.
Remember that dead fishes you kept?
Oh,
They
my
kept.
God. Yeah, I sure do
He kept
remember
thinking he was
that.
catching fish.
But that is not fit and tale to tell a bunch of young
Come on
folks.
now.
I'm younger than you are, so
And
I
I'll
didn't
have
know
to
it
admit
was
that I was doing,
okay.
I
won't tell
caused the whole
anything
thing was I was doing something that wasn't right.
We were perfect.
Well, that's why we need to share.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Right. Well, I remember at
Yeah, I
Nags
know
Head,
what you're talking about.
when we all go down there with one rule. Everybody wanted to go to Trifles. That was a store where you go get Coca-Cola and candy and everything. But the first thing you had to do, you had to pick up your clothes, clean up your room, and then we go to Trifles. Oh yeah, clean up the whole cottage, and then we go to Trifles and get a Coca-Cola, and then we go come home and go swimming. And do you remember when you left me in the dime store over in Manio? I do. And everybody came home but me. Yes, I blame Mama for that restaurant life. She didn't love me.
This is the story. I know the story. We've been Franklin's 5 and Diamond. It was a rainy day, and Mama and Aunt and all the cousins, we were in the big station wagon, and we all piled. Everybody knew that it was time to go, and we piled in about midway, going across the bridge. Mama turned around and went, "Where's Julia?" We all went. You know, a hush fell across the car.
She's falling in the water. She's drowned.
I don't think she was but 3 or 4. So we go back, and she was sitting on a lady's lap. I remember.
Okay.
Mama's just never.
cried.
Good try, Mama. It didn't work.
You be playing the wrong Laguna now, Julia.
Yeah, I know it. We're gonna. That's what I did at the Lost Colony.
Well, another good thing that happened to Daddy down at Nags Head about 10 years ago, I'll stop the story off when I'm supposed to. They were putting a new deck around the cottage. So when it was just about through, Jack and I and Daddy went down there to check everything out, and Daddy had one of these cameras like right here. And he'd take pictures of it, but always had it on. When he would stop taking the picture like this, and he'd put it like this. And it was on, so you look going like that. He said, "No, I didn't, Bill Pye." I said, "Yes, you did. Let's look at it." And he started looking at it. How doggone if I did? And I said, "Now, Daddy, watch this in just a minute. Now, watch. What's going to happen? You watch. You go in the bathroom. You're going to put it right there on. You're going to put it right on the back of the commode. Right on the back of the commode. me on. You know, yeah, no. I'm gonna stop right there and let y'all's mind go how y'all want.
Daddy always was a proud man.
I can remember when we were little and went to the church and have a picnic. And we'd walk, we were just 2 blocks from the church and 2 blocks from the railroad station. And Mama would fix our picnic basket and we'd walk to the train. And then we'd get off the train in Moorhead and walk over to the sound side to a little store and caught a boat and went over to the beach. The only thing there was that one big building. That's all that was on the beach. These young girls said, well, my grandmama, didn't you have a bridge? I said, I don't think so. And then they did build one, but people didn't have enough cars, many cars. And we always went on the boat.
You rented your bathing suit.
What?
Rented your bathing suit.
I forgot about that.
Well, what did the bathing suit look like, Aunt Johnny, when you would rent it?
Just one
Dirty.
piece.
Sandy.
Nothing extra.
Did they have a
Not like they look
skirt?
today.
No, the skirts, were they long? Were they skirts? I mean, were
No, they were just one piece in the right here.
Did you wear a bathing cap?
I'm
The
sure
flower
we
on-
did.
I'm sure, I've got one down the beach in the closet.
I'm sure you do, Mom. You kept everything. She has everything you want, she's got in that basement store.
No, I haven't. I put
And Mama could not swim a lick at all because she was never allowed to go in the water. They couldn't show their ankles. But she would take her shoes off and walk up and down while we were in the water. In case we started to drown, I guess she thought she'd yell.
That's what Mama,
You got it from, Mom.
that's where Mama got it from. She wouldn't let any of us, and y'all remember this too, none of us could go in the water, even get our feet wet.
Couldn't go over the hill.
Until they were down there. And then they used Jack for bait, because Jack was the tallest. He'd have to go out there and see if there was an undertow. If he drowned him, see how deep it was.
See, it was a drop-off.
See if there was a drop-off.
He kept going in the water, he kept going under.
And
Mom
he
said,
did-
well, that's too deep.
That's right.
And the boys used to pour cold water over Harriet Liza's head when she was
that
taking
was
a
Billy
shower.
Knight.
No, that was John Morrison.
It was a mud.
Right over there.
Jerry did that, absolutely. And the girls too, that was all that.
About 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and it all went in. And so we'd come back and take the showers, and either the guys were in the showers first, and the shower was right out under
A bedroom.
the bedroom.
And we all walked. No, under the bathroom.
And we would try to watch. So what we would do is we would go in the bedroom and look down into the shower.
You're kidding.
Oh yeah. Or we would try to peek through the cracks, right? And a couple of times we'd take big. I don't know how in the world we got cold water, but we'd always throw cold water on.
I think you had a garden.
We had the garden hose that we'd use to spray on. Julia, you were screaming. So was Chris.
I know it.
And all the girls used to keep their towels right around the top of them, except for Chris. And she was proud too.
And your daddy would pull them off of us.
No, that was on you.
No, it was your daddy. Our daddy had his toe.
You didn't walk through it.
Exactly, all three sit up there with legs crossed like that, drinking this hand.
And my time he,
Not even
Tom
awake,
Collins.
you know.
Tom Collins.
All those people come up and grab,
And they thought it was so funny. It made me mad as fuck.
Edward, tell that story that you told us at lunch about your dad when he visited.
I remember that when Uncle Again came.
I don't remember that.
Oh, I
Tell
do.
us
This is
about it.
about 1947, 1948. I think there were about between 25 and 30 of us in that party. Everybody was down there. And one afternoon, my dad came up to me and said, let's go get a Pepsi Cola or Coca-Cola or something. And it was kind of a little unusual. He was kind of grim-faced. And I went with him, what had I done? Well, I hadn't done anything. He said, did you see what I saw? I said, no, what? He thought, if you all remember, down at that cottage for a long time, there was a piece of artificial dog food.
Artificial dog do.
Yeah.
And he saw a little saucer with that artificial stuff on the table. He thought it the real thing. He was ready to get away from that kid right there. Well, fortunately, I'd seen, I knew what he was talking about, and I told him it was artificial. He said, no, it's not either. I said, yes, I had to prove it to him when I got back in the car. And then he calmed down, but he was mighty upset.
And the first year we were down there, you found a black snake in the shower. And of course we wanted to kill it, and he picked it up and ran across the roof with it. It was a huge.
Whatever length he was, Uncle Red had a stick or something, he was ready to kill him.
Any snake's a bad snake, I see.
Anyway, I wouldn't let him. I got in between them and the snake, picked the snake up, walked across the road and let him go.
And also you said black snakes won't hurt you, they won't bite. But he came back and the black snake had bitten you.
Yeah. That was 1949, and that was before the cottage was raised. And I counted about 20 to 22 of us down there. And Harriet Lytle was down there and cooked those 3 meals a day for that big crowd of people, and that was just wonderful, most wonderful thing we've ever experienced.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Yeah.
Chocolate cake.
A day has learned how to make black bottom like Harriet Lytle.
Julia, you've got the recipe.
Adalia, she's learned how to make it.
You homemade girls.
Homemade girls.
Well, where's that girl I used to sing?
When it would storm outside, we were afraid of storms, and Harriet would come up from her room and sit in the living room. I can see her right now and close all the doors, and Mom and Dad would be gone. And she'd start rocking, smoking her cigarette. She said, okay, I'm going to sing to you kids. And she said, won't you come home, Bill Bailey? I got all night long. So we all get in our chairs and start singing with her.
Wobble like a duck. If you don't know how to do it, then hug the buck. Then you're out of luck.
But nobody could sing and dance like Harriet.
And she put her finished cigarettes out in her apron pocket.
Oh.
She had holes all over it.
And she would cuss no telling how many cigarette ashes we ate at that time. She'd be hang cooking over the stove and those ashes would be that long.
Her secret ingredient, I think.
Secondary ashes.
Take them, put them in the pot.
Oh,
All the
yeah.
crabs would come over the side of the pot, and all the kids would be in there looking.
That's
and
right.
all of a sudden, the crabs are all on the floor in the kitchen, and we'd go,
We scattered.
I don't think I ever saw Harriet wear shoes. She always
She never,
barefoot.
her feet were
Was so
flat as
big
that.
and flat.
Yeah. Her ankles were about that big.
And Ella looked after her as long as she lived.
She certainly did.
You did.
You did.
You looked after her.
She did. Mighty sweet.
Tell some stories about Mama.
Get your hands off of that. Get your hands off that chocolate cake.
That's what Miss I got the children. Oh, hush up, Mr. Jack.
Tell some stories about Grandmama and Aunt Annie, and because a lot of the grandchildren probably
Well,
know the great.
Let me tell you.
Wait, Daddy, okay.
Let me tell you this
I
a little
slept
bit.
with that Annie, and I wet the bed. And I could hear hit the floor. My fathers, you have drowned me. I don't do that now.
She drowned me.
I wet everybody that was anywhere within me. I tell you what. If they were in another bed, I'd wet them.
A family bedwetter. Mom, what was your story, Beth?
I'm going to tell you just a little bit about Mother Smith and 407 Metcalf Street.
Oh, good.
Now, you got to remember 407 Metcalf Street because that's where
all
about
was
4 of
born
you were
there?
born.
I was born
upstairs.
there.
You were born there.
Ed was born.
And Edward was born there, and John was born there, and Joan was born there, and Barbara was, went to the hospital, and so did Cotton.
Yeah.
Were y'all born in Newbern, though?
Yeah.
Oh.
God. Why don't you look like kind of easy?
And Mother Smith had a great
Easy,
influence
Rod.
on getting all of her 4 son-in-laws, I guarantee you that. And to give you one example of her love, when Wygant was in the hospital, really on his deathbed, he told Marie, he said, I want to go home. And Marie said, well, Kent, I've got to fix up a room for you downstairs at our house. He said, I mean 407 Metcalf Street. And her love was so great. Ella was down in Tyler, Texas, and was pregnant. And Mother Smith got on the train and went to Tyler, Texas. And she went down to see Ella, spent a little time with her, got on the train and came back to Newbern. And just as she got there, just as she got back to Newbern, Ella had a miscarriage. She turned right around, got back on the train, and went right back down to Tyler, Texas to see Ella.
She did.
Now, she did. Now, when Ella had Jack here,
not the miscarriage.
but some of you ought to know, not very long before Jack was born, she had appendicitis and had to have appendix removed.
No, he was 2 weeks old.
2 weeks old, okay, just about that same time. Now all of you got to remember Jack's birthday because he was born on August the 14th. And you can remember August 14th because that was the day that the World War II was over. August 14th, not the year, but August 14th. So everybody remember when August 14th comes along, that's the end of World War II, so everybody sends Jack a birthday card because that's his birthday. I was on the way I had been to Charlotte and got a job in the steel business on August the 14th. And on the way back, down the highway, everybody had the windows down and blowing the horns and said, the war's over, the war's over. And I went by and picked up Red and Durr because Red had taken Johnette to Newbern to have her baby.
Because we were living in a hotel.
I picked him up in Durham and took him to Newbern. And of course, every place you went through little town, they were celebrating about the World War II being over.
And don't leave this out. Red said, now Hugh, when Johnette gets ready to go to the hospital, you're going to take care of it. I'll take her to the hospital, don't worry about it. So I got ready to go to the hospital, and I said, Hugh, I think it's time for me to go. Okay, so he sent Kate.
I told Johnny on August the 21st, I said, Johnny, I said, if you want me to, I'll take you, let me know when you get up, I'll take you to the hospital. Well, just about daybreak now, I heard some racket downstairs. I get out of bed and go peep down the stairs on 407 Metcalf Street, and I saw Mother Smith and Johnny going out the door. Mother Smith took Johnny to the hospital, walked over to the hospital.
No, you took me, didn't you?
Mother Smith
I think you did.
I saw Mother Smith going out the door with her. I know that.
Was the baby Cotton? Was Cotton, that was Cotton?
And so, and Cotton was born August the 22nd. That's right. And that's exactly right. And it wasn't any time when we called Red and said, you got a son. Well, boy, did he burn that highway up coming to you.
Well, I know when Jack was born, I was just so proud to have a son. We didn't have any boys in our family except John Matthew and John Ivan and a few others. He screamed all the way. Every time I put him in that carriage, he would scream. I've got a picture of him in his mouth. Just like that. Jazz. Well, hi, Jazz. Jazz,
Daddy, did you have something?
What?
Were you gonna, oh, Mama had something.
You had your hand up.
Go on, Uncle, you tell us more.
I think I'm about
Ella said there were no boys in the family because there were 7 women in our house that we grew up in. No men, Ella,
name
except to
them.
come and eat.
Name the women.
There was Mama. No, first was my grandmother, who went to live with our mother and father when they were married.
What was her name?
That was and then he died, and.
That was
and
Christian Caroline.
Christian Caroline.
Oh, so that's Chris and
And Caroline, Rick and Caroline.
And you know, Elijah Christian Piggott was a Methodist minister down at Hubert. That's between Jacksonville and Swansboro. And we used to go down to Hubert in the summertime and visit. And of course, we'd go down to the mill where they had great corn and everything. And Colonel Roy would say, "You see that tree over there? Go over there and dig. That's where Blackbeard buried his treasure." And we'd dig ourselves to death every summer. We never found a thing.
Tell us who the rest of the ladies were in the household.
All right, that was our grandmother, our mother,
And then our
who told Annie, when Annie became a widow, if she would come and live with us, that she would earn a living for all of us. Because when Daddy died, the day he died, he suggested that she go down to the Western Union and wire Mr. McGinnis and ask him to come and shoe horses. I don't know where Mr. McGinnis lived, but he came. On Monday morning, Mama went to work down to the horseshoe shop. Although I had heard that she only had a 5th grade education because she had typhoid fever when she was quite young and almost lost her eyesight. Mr. McGinnis came to work and Mama met him on Monday morning after Daddy's funeral and opened the horseshoe shop and ran the shop for years. Then there was Aunt Annie. When her husband died, Mama invited Aunt Annie to come and live with us. So she moved from the Straits up to Newbern, and she lived with us. Then there was my grandmother, our mother, our Aunt Annie, and I'm the oldest. And then there's Marie and Ella and Johnette. When I was 4 years old, between 2 and 3 weeks before Johnette was born, Mama had already, for some months, had been earning a living for the family by running the horseshoe shop. And just once she told me that somebody who was wealthy in Newbern would send his horse and buggy around on Monday mornings to take her collecting from the people whose horses had been shod in the horseshoe shop. So we grew up, 7 women, in a house.
Then we moved out to the grocery store. Mama ran a grocery store in China. And he delivered groceries. And you know, several years ago, I saw him in Newbern, and Marie showed him to me, he was all dressed up, and I stopped and spoke to him. But I really believe I could have been an architect. I really do. You do, Mama? Yeah. Side meat used to come in a box like that, and we made a playhouse out of it. I'm sure you did. We had a window in it, I had a sterno stove, porch, and I cooked collards.
And not only that, we had a theater.
Oh, yes.
In the garage. Ella charged a penny a piece for anybody that wanted to come see our play. She was the star, she was the director. And we had wonderful plays.
We certainly did.
And I did anything she told me to do. And my very earliest memory is Ella saying, "Don Della, come on." And the last time we were together, she took me by the arm and said, "Johnette, come on."
She wanted to read all the time. She never wanted to go out and do a thing but read.
Well, she was fast and I was slow. That's why she was always saying, "Come on."
She still is. And Aunt Annie loved to cook, and she wouldn't let you go in the kitchen with them. Don't come in here while I'm cooking.
We'd say, and Annie, can I do something? Set the table.
But a little bit later, she looked around and wanted us to wash the dishes, but we was, well, I was the fastest disappearer you ever saw.
Well, they wouldn't let me wash the dishes, I was too slow.
Well, I have a question. Where did all this cleanliness stuff come from? There's a big thing in our family about everything has to be clean, so we're all big cleaners and scrubbers.
I came to your daddy's side of the family.
I can assure you that's my fault.
I don't know about that. They made you clean?
Wouldn't let me get in the kitchen, wouldn't let me wash the dishes, because I had to see that the brass was polished on the faucet. I had to do everything just right. But they made me clean the house.
And she'd move the furniture every time she cleaned up. You never knew where you were going to sit down.
She had to get back somehow.
And I'd say, why? Go clean the house.
My job was dusting, and I hate dusting today. I wish you could see my house. Mighty dusty. Doesn't bother me a bit.
Mom, what was your job?
What's my job?
What was your job when you were growing up?
Don't look over here at me.
I thought maybe you could understand. I don't
She
know
was
what
too
my
busy
job is.
playing around with the neighbors.
She was too busy riding
I
with
used
the parents.
to, for a short period of my time, I slept with Kate. Mama had 5 bedrooms upstairs at that time. And there was a little bedroom at the end of the hall. And I was sleeping with Kate. And I was a lot younger than Kate. And Kate would read and leave the light on all night. And I would say, Kate, if you don't turn out the light, I'm going to call Mama. She said, honey, don't you want another cookie?
And we had this Aunt Lena that came to see us. She was tremendous. And she got stuck in the bathroom door. Do y'all remember the blind man's store?
Well, now, just how big was this woman, Mom?
Big.
How big?
Big. Do y'all remember the blind man's store?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I used to go down there every afternoon. I can remember growing up on Metcalf Street, and this black woman would come on Saturday night. She'd get drunk and come and hug that tree in front of the house. And you could see her fingernail marks in that tree and just scream.
Do you know that I was in Newbern a couple of weeks ago, and I went by Grandmama's house, and some people, I don't know who they are, I went up and knocked on, nobody come to the door, I went back.
You did go to the door.
I did. I wanted to go in and look. And remember those little flowers that Grandmama used to have, those pink, or Johnny Jumper, those pink.
They like you could take them through your teeth.
That's right.
Those little pink flowers, they're still there. Right there, right by the sidewalk, right around the house. And remember that big, you remember that big oak tree or whatever that tree was in the front? Somebody, I think it was Cotton, somebody put, I love so-and-so, and put a heart around it.
That was Cotton.
It was Cotton. It was, you know it's still there. The heart, you can see the heart, but it's beginning to rot away. But somebody, one of us put up there, I love so-and-so, because I remember seeing it as a child, and I turned around to look to see if you could see it. And the heart, you could see that was
I'm going to
still
tell a
there,
story on Billy Cotton. He doesn't remember it. I remember it vividly.
I bet you do.
We were there. It was Easter. It was Easter, and you know, the gang of children were playing around the house. And as you know, little boys sometimes kind of, Mother Nature calls, and he just kind of didn't go in the house and decided to
Whip
do
it out.
that. And so I'm going to go tell your mommy. So I run in and tell it Johnny, and she whips him or something. He chased me around the block for at least 30 minutes.
God!
I don't remember. Y'all remember the nail tree?
Oh,
Yeah.
Nail tree. Remember the guy going up and down the street selling produce?
Yeah.
In the morning, you wake up, and the sheets in Grandmother's house always smelled incredible. They were always ironed.
Fresh.
Yeah, and you wake up in the summertime, the windows were open, and you could hear the women out on the street yelling for the vegetables and how much they were per pound.
And the milk
Singing.
come in those jars.
Yeah.
Put some money in the empty milk jar and
Yeah.
put it outside at night,
Yeah.
and the next morning it would be out there.
That's right.
The milk, yeah.
You burn coal in the grate.
Yeah, the coal, yeah, stuff. And Aunt Ellen, all of us backed up to the heat with our skirts full of.
Masonic Theater, wasn't that the name
The
of it?
Masonic Theater.
Who was it that lived next
Gigi.
to
Gigi, with all the silver bracelets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who lived down, who was it that had the chickens behind Grandma's
Cousin
house?
Kate.
Kate. Where that fig tree was. That fig tree is still there.
It is?
Grandmama had a fig tree in the back of her yard.
That's what I'm talking about. It's still there.
Did you go to the backyard too?
I walked around to the back of the house.
I have a
Remember when
sunny
it was
fig tree in
when
my
hurricane would come
backyard.
through a storm, the whole backyard would be flooded?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was all under the house.
I remember the scooter, remember the red scooter?
Oh, yeah.
I'll go with that place.
Did you ride it?
And we fight over that. Who was gonna ride it next?
That's right.
And there was a dog, wasn't there a dog named Jack? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was a Springer or a Cocker Spaniel.
Yeah, I remember him.
It was y'all's and you brought it, didn't you bring it?
And left it, I
Named
think.
Jack. Well, when Jack was born, Jack was a big Jack was overseas, so I sent him a cablegram. Son, black, then started a new son's hat, and sure Jack out. He said, I thought you had a black son. He said his heart stopped. He said his heart stopped. He did.
I believe it. Look on his head.
I know.
I got some, okay?
I've been here.
Oh, that was.
That was a terrible.
It was.
What was this, Johnny? I was devastated.
What
Why
was it?
don't you tell it?
No, you tell it.
Oh, they got a telegram saying that Jack was missing in action,
Oh,
and they couldn't find him. Well, we just went around devastated because we thought that that was the worst news. you
Everybody
could
was
get.
at home?
And Ella was living with Mama, and I must have been there with Cotton then. But, and I guess you were there.
I was always there.
We were always. We were just, it was the saddest time we've ever heard. And then finally, did you hear from Jack himself?
How long was it?
And
Not
he
too
was
long.
he
Like
had
weeks, months? How long?
fallen
About a
out.
month.
He had
No, it wasn't a
malaria.
month. It wasn't
He was
long.
on one of the islands. Was it Guam or some island in the Pacific?
Beginning where it was.
And he had passed out, and he had malaria. They put him on a troop ship and took him to Australia.
That's right.
But he was missing. They didn't have him. That was a terrible time. Thank heavens he came back to tell all those wild tales.
Mother, how many people lived at Grandmother's house? We all remember Grandmother's house. When I was little, it seemed huge. It's
That's
not
right.
huge.
That's right.
How many people
That's
lived
right.
there
It
during the
amazes me
war?
how size of that house.
Well, I went,
I know it.
I don't know how many months before John was born.
Oh, John was already born when you went.
No, John was born by it.
John didn't realize that.
Back bedroom upstairs. I remember, I was born there too.
It was hot, Jack, it was hot.
Hot as day. I remember vividly.
Man, these guys aren't that old. They got good memories still.
Did Aunt Ree and Uncle White, were they living there then? Aunt Ree and Uncle White again, so they were living there. And Edward.
We moved
How
out
many is that?
in May of 42. Moved out to Riverside.
Well, you can, I don't remember any of those things, so you just tell me, because I know.
But when you
I know
moved
y'all
there,
did.
Aunt Ree and Uncle Wygant and Edward were there, and then you moved, and you were pregnant with John.
His dad was in High Point.
Then John was born by him.
And John.
And, well, that was later though.
That was younger. When
See, we moved out.
I was down in, I was getting ready to go to Trinidad.
I like Trinidad.
Oh,
And then
Yes,
Aunt
who
Johnny,
would've
did
been
you
by
live
then?
there during the war?
Well, Joan was born by it, then I
Joan
came
was
back.
born there.
So again, and Mama had a room of sometime during that period in the room, bedroom.
Is everybody keeping up with the count?
12.
Good, gracious.
And then your daddy left again, and I moved back. And Joan was born. Then Ella came, and she was expecting Jack.
And she had lost several children, and so they put Ella to bed for the summer. There was
Ooh,
no
upstairs?
admission.
That's right.
And we had a tin roof, and she was put in that back bedroom.
Jack!
She stayed there all the time. She was not losing child. And sure enough, that's what she had, that gorgeous boy.
The hot boy.
So how many babies were there?
Well, there was John and Joan. Joan had been born. In the morning that Jack was expected to be born, I took them around the corner. There was an armory where they kept little children. I took those two little children around the corner and left them at the armory so I could help the doctor, because the doctor came with his nurse each time we had a child born. Came for John and Joan and now for Jack.
That's because the hospital was flooded with people. You know, they'd opened Camp Lejeune and Cherry Point, and all the wives had followed their husbands.
Caroline,
And
were you
Newman
born
was
there?
just flooded, and the hospital, they just couldn't take care of anybody.
Flooded with injured soul.
God, you were born there,
Flooded
and I
with
bet
injured soul.
you were born there, and you
The
were born.
soldiers'
I
wives
was born
were
in
following.
the hospital of St. Louis.
They came to,
Oh, you were?
they were stationed at Cherry Point and Camp Lejeune, and their wives would come and get an apartment and stay with them as long as they could until they left, and then they move on when their husbands moved on.
So when they were having babies, the hospitals would be filled with those,
Tons of
with their
babies.
spouses.
And the hospital was full. The hospital was
Called
full.
baby boomers.
They didn't want, the doctors didn't want
That's right.
them to go to the hospital. There was so much infection, so much of everything. That's what Dr. Paper said. So Dr. Caper came to the house with his nurse, and they were delivered like that.
So
In
when,
the back bedroom.
so when was
And
Congress?
I remember when Edward was born, we were in high school, weren't we, Ella? We came home and there was Edward. We thought it was our baby. And we were so excited, and Wygant would not let us rock him or pick him up when we wanted to. And Ella said, well, I don't know why we even have a baby Johnette. If Wygant won't let us pick him up when we want to, it was just like our baby. I don't know why we have a baby, do you? I said, I certainly don't. I don't know.
And Ella would cry while she was talking about it. I mean, it just broke her heart that she couldn't hold the baby.
I don't know why we have a baby. We can't pick him up.
Y'all were teenage girls at that time.
We were in high school. I was in high school. We were in high school.
What did the sisters do while these babies were being born? Were you part of that process, or were you just sort of around?
Well, I can remember the doctor telling me exactly what to do, but where the point came when
You fainted.
I can't tell you. The nurse was right there, and the doctor was there, and he'd tell me what to do, but outside of that, I don't remember the end of it. I don't know.
Were all the sisters were born in that house?
Were we born? No.
Where were you born?
We were born, I was born at Camp Perry, which was a camp run by a lumber company, and Daddy ran the commissary. And then between the time I was born and Marie was born, we moved to Newbern, and Daddy went to work for someone who was in the cotton business, a cotton broker. And I've always thought Marie was born on Johnson Street, but I never did ask Mama, so I don't.
She said she was.
She did. Well, that's what I thought. Then when Ella was born, Ella may have been born there too.
I think so.
On Johnson Street? What's Johnson
Johnson
Street? Is there a
Street.
hospital or something?
It's not far, it's the street that, the theater was on, this way.
I know you weren't born on the street,
No,
Mom.
I wasn't.
Johnson
That's
Street.
the street.
I know, but was there
Was the street going this way?
I know, but whose house or whatever were you born in? I mean, were you born in somebody's house?
Wherever we were living.
Okay, where you were living. Okay, okay.
Well, let me tell y'all something funny.
Mom, let her finish.
Well, excuse me, I thought everybody was through.
And Aunt Johnny, where was she born?
I was born on Metcalf Street across from Tryon Palace. They have now a sandwich shop there. And we went in several years ago to have a sandwich there. And I said, I was born right on the same spot. And they looked at me so funny. what, I'm so old, if I wanted a job, there's no way I could get a job. And we sat there and talked, Elton Marie and Ella and Kate and myself, and we talked right steady for the entire time we were eating.